Iron Man 3 is prime Tony Stark, and the reason I say this is because this is one of the few times we see Tony dealing with hand-to-hand combat. Any other time we see him on the screen, he's usually in a huge CGI battle, and all he does is usually just fly and blast lasers. But in this movie, he was really in the field. So we start off with him running away from this redhead, and he ends up finding a spot to hide, thinking he's safe, only for this bitch to pop up out of the blue like an unwanted pregnancy. She grabs him by the neck, pins him to the wall, then launches an elbow to his face. And by the way, when I started writing the script, I had all intentions of glazing, I mean dick riding this movie, but damn, the editing in this sequence is so shitty. I just had to put that out there. But back to the fight. She lays him on the table like a bag of groceries, then they both roll over like some dogs being taught new tricks. This entire time Tony was handcuffed, so she uses that to advantage and does this. Hold on. Usually I skip these scenes, but okay, go ahead. She tries to melt off Tony's face, but then he remembers all the couples dance classes Pepper's been forcing him to attend and pulls this out of his bag. He uses her neck to melt his cuffs, then uses them to ignite a firewall around her. Okay, now listen to what Tony says right here.
You walked right into this one. I've dated hotter chicks than you.
That's all you got? Cheap trick and a cheesy one-liner?
Sweetheart, that could be the name of my autobiography.
Bro, it's shit like this that makes you realize the void that's been left in the MCU since Tony's passing. Generally speaking, name a character that is currently in the MCU right now that can be this obnoxious and also be charismatic. So after that, Tony gives her that moves on treatment. And just when Tony thought he was scot-free, Lord Farquaad with a buzz cut drops a reservoir water tank. Whatever this is, he drops it on Tony, and we see that he has Harley hostage. So Tony tells Harley to put on some blinding lights, but he wasn't referring to the weekend. Harley runs away, then Tony puts Buzzcut Farquaad down. Trust and believe, I'm not lying when I say this, but Iron Man 3 is the one movie where Tony shines the best throughout his entire trilogy. I mean, there's so many highlights in this movie, like Tony on his Mission Impossible shit in the Mandarin's mansion, the plane rescue, but most importantly, seeing the house party protocol in action. So we jump over to when Tony and Rhodey are trying to save Pepper, and they're surrounded. 2 men against 50,000 type shit. The camera tilts up and all we see is a collection of Tony's most beautiful suits that never got the chance to see the light of day. Literally. Tony suits up and goes to save Pepper, but we end up having to deal with this loser.
Guy bothering?
Niggas will really get a bag, get surgery, and think that they're not Casanova. No, nigga, you're a dork. I mean, look at Pepper, that shit didn't impress her at all. Tony then slices his arm, but because of extremists, that shit then melts the ground and puts Pepper in a compromising position. So Tony rushes over to her location in hopes of saving her, but there really wasn't much he could do to help.
Shame. I would've caught her.
Bro, every time I see this nigga on screen, I just wish I could reach inside and give him this treatment. But anywho, him and Tony start to squabble, and oh me, oh my boy Tony was really schmoving. So Killian jumps up to punch Tony, but he slides under the same way I be sliding in James Charles DMs. So Tony suits up, they go hit for hit. Killian fucks up his fit, so he fucks up his wrist. Killian pushes Tony over and jumps on top of him, so Tony does the only reasonable thing you could do in such a situation, which is change his fit mid-squabble. After that, he drags Killian to the top, and despite how much I dislike this nigga, he was really schmoving. I mean, look at this. But Tony pushes him off, blasts at him, yet Killian dodges it. And just when Tony was charging up another blast, Killian uses it against him. And I repeat, I do not fuck with this nigga at all, but I got to give him props where props is due. He was really schmoving. Tony recovers, gets in a couple of hits, and look at this. He hits this nigga with a rocket-powered backhand slap. My nigga, I didn't know Tony was capable of being this disrespectful. But this nigga Killian can't spend another minute without fucking up another one of Tony's outfits. So Jarvis sends in Mark 42.
Whatever.
Nah, Tony, it's your fault for getting your hopes high. Aside from the plane, 42's been underperforming the entire movie, especially when the Mandarin was blowing up your crib. So because of that, the only reasonable thing to use 42 for was to blow up Killian.